Hello everyone. This is my second talk in this seminar series of Canadian Islet Research and Training Network. Last time, I talked about our clinical islet isolation activity at the University of Alberta in January this year. At that time, I didn't have enough time to talk about our research islet distribution program. So let me express my appreciation to the organizers and Dr. Patrick MacDonald for giving me this extra opportunity to present an overview of the Alberta Islet Distribution Program, or AIDP, during the last 15 years. As you may know, the primary role of the clinical islet laboratory is to prepare purified islet for clinical transplantation. In other words, we don't perform islet isolation for research purpose. However, in addition to our primary role, we distribute islet for research. When we don't get enough islet mass for transplant and research consent is given. Why we distribute islet for research? First, we want to respect wishes of donors and donor families. Second, we don't want to waste this valuable resource. And third, we want to help the advancement of medical sciences. Importantly, we don't receive any support from funding agencies, and our volunteer spirit is a driving force of this extra task. This is AIDP logo. Red indicates islet stained with digizone. Blue is for diabetes. Pancreas head is from Alberta. AIDP was established in 2007. Initially, we had only 7 basic researchers in 2007. Every year, a few researchers newly join AIDP. As a result, the cumulative number of researchers has reached 49. The majority of researchers are based in North America. International researchers are located in Japan, Israel, Singapore, UK, and Germany. Currently, AIDP has 20 active researchers. There are now many islet distribution programs worldwide. Among programs listed here, activities of these 3 programs are profound, and especially ADI Islet Core and IIDP are the major contributors to the human islet research community in North America. I'm not sure about the activity of other programs in Canada, including Montreal, Vancouver, and Toronto. Recently, this review article was published in Diabetologia, and the authors are emphasizing the improvement in standardization of human islet data in scientific publications. This article was then accompanied with an editorial co-published in Diabetologia and Diabetes by Vincent Poitot and his colleagues. Subsequently, Diabetologia and Diabetes have required to report essential data on donor and islet characteristics. One thing I would like to mention here is hemoglobin A1C is just a number. Just a number, okay? Normal A1C does not necessarily mean non-diabetes. For example, even individuals with type 1 diabetes can have normal A1C if perfect glucose control is achieved with intensive insulin therapy. Similarly, higher A1C does not necessarily mean diabetes. For example, after massive transfusions during a hospital stay, A1C level of a donor without diabetes may be artificially elevated. The important thing is you have to look at the clinical picture of a donor. Here's an example of reporting human islet preparations. This is a supplemental table within this paper published in scientific report. I don't know what Alberta Islet Lab means, but I'm pretty sure this preparation is from AIDP. Anyway, my point is there are several blanks here. It was unfortunate that the author didn't ask me extra information of this donor. We provide donor and islet information using this shipment form. Donor age, gender, BMI, total IEQ, viability and purity. Other information such as donor race, cause of death, A1C, cold ischemia time, culture time, percentage of trapped islet, and islet particle number is available upon request. Just please be aware, IEQ here is based on pre-culture counting in the most cases. And please remember that we lose islet after culture, roughly 15%, and further loss would be expected during transportation. Regarding feedback from researchers, our system is simple and easy. We only need to know whether islets were used or not. Previously, we requested user feedback for islet quality with rating excellent, good, fair, or poor. I stopped this requirement many years ago because I found this type of information is not useful for us. What I'm doing now is that I always reply to researchers when I receive the forms so that I can communicate more freely. Our program AIDP is unique in several aspects. A fundamental difference from other distribution programs is we never have islet left over. We simply divide an islet preparation by the number of available researchers. From a researcher's point of view, a big advantage is islets are provided with no cost, no handling fee, no service fee, no packaging fee, and no culture medium fee. The only thing researchers have to take care of is the FedEx account number. A disadvantage would be opt-out system and low purity of our preparation. What I mean by saying opt-out system is we assume that researchers are always willing to accept islet shipment, so we don't ask each researcher if she or he will accept islet prior to shipping. When researchers cannot accept shipping for a certain period, we have to be informed in advance. This is our typical islet preparation from AIDP. You may see this number, 42.5%, is weird. This is because we take duplicate samples and each sample is assessed by 2 independent specialists, and then we take an average, resulting in this number. Frankly speaking, our researchers receive less pure preparations. We provide islet with purity greater than 50% in a quarter of cases. For purity greater than 70%, only 5% of cases. It is obvious that purity of research islet is significantly lower than that of transplanted islet. But I'd like to draw your attention to the purity distribution in transplanted islet. In almost half of preparations, purity is less than 60% even with transplanted islet. I want to explain why purity of a preparation is lower. As you may know, density of islet is lower than density of exocrine cells. But there is an overlap between these two fractions. If I draw a line here, I can obtain nearly 100% pure islet, but I have to discard a large amount of islet. In contrast, if I draw a line here, I can recover almost all of islets, but at the same time, a huge amount of exocrine cells would be in my preparation. So there is a trade-off between purity and recovery rate. We try to maximize recovery rate with keeping purity at minimum 30%. When there are many trapped islets before purification, the situation gets worse. These are nice free islets, and these are trapped islets. Islet is trapped by exocrine cells. The density of these trapped islets is higher compared to free islet, right? So an overlap becomes substantial. Especially in younger donor pancreases, we encounter more trapped islet and less free islet. That's why it is challenging to get many islet from younger donor pancreases. Now, I change the subject to research consent. Because research consent obtained from donor family is essential to AIDP and researchers, I did a retrospective analysis of research consent rate. We obtained research consent in 68% of cases. This denominator, 1197, is the number of pancreases we received, not the number of all donors in Canada. Okay? Because research consent is not taken into consideration when we accept donor offers, our sample is likely representing general donor population in Canada. When we look at this graph, we can see overall consent rate is gradually increasing. In the last 2 years, the rate was quite high. An 80% consent rate is incredible. I really don't know why. But my speculation is people might be becoming aware of the importance of research due to COVID-19. Here are findings from statistical analysis. First, consent rate from Caucasian donors was significantly higher than non-Caucasian. This is expected because we all know that organ donation rate is higher in Caucasian population. Second, consent rate from DCD, donation after cardiac death, was significantly higher than DBD, donation after brain death. We have to understand some subtle differences between brain-dead donor and DCD. In brain-dead donors, a donation decision is made after sudden death and hospital stay is short. On the other hand, in DCD, a decision of life support withdrawal is made while a donor is alive. Then, a donation decision process begins before death following a long-term hospital stay. So my speculation is longer and more frequent interactions between donor family and healthcare professionals in DCD may influence the decision process for research consent. Third, the consent rate significantly varies among provinces. The highest was Quebec with 80%, and the lowest was Manitoba with 61%. Although not statistically significant, we obtained more consent from older donors and less consent from younger donors. No differences between male and female. This shows the disposition of islet preparations during the last 15 years. The overall percentage of research usage was 36%. But I know this percentage is not important information for researchers. What researchers want to know would be how frequently research islet is available. Each year, there are roughly 30 preparations for research. The number of research preparations has remained stable, although the number was lowest with 17 in 2021 due to a program on hold related to COVID-19. What about islet quantity per shipment? Well, initially each researcher received more than 80,000 IEQs in one shipment. This is because AIDP had only 7 researchers in 2007. After that, quantity became stable at around 20,000 IEQs per shipment. The number of shipments also became stable at around 200 per year. Let me explain what the number of shipment is. Well, for example, if I ship one preparation to 10 researchers in 20 occasions throughout a year, then the number of shipments would be 200. 10 times 20, just a simple math. This is all the data I presented at the Alberta Diabetes Institute Research Day in 2008. I compared our activity with ICR activity based on their annual report. ICR is the current IIDP. What I found is, to my surprise, a researcher in AIDP receives more islets per shipment more frequently. By the way, the price of 100 IEQ was $3 in 2008, but now it is $12. Now I can show you recent data, including 3 more other distribution programs. Please be aware that these data of IIDP and ECIT are from 5 islet isolation centers. So, in terms of total IEQs distributed, I can say both AIDP and Islet Core are doing a great job. Okay, let me change the subject to practical point. I'm not sure which researchers count islet after receiving, but for those who do count islet, I would like to give a couple of cautions. This is a description from this book chapter. The author Paul Johnson is famous in the islet transplant community. I was shocked when I read this book chapter. He's saying that one islet with the diameter being 300 micrometer is 2 IEQs. This is absolutely wrong. You have to understand IEQ is a measurement of islet volume. Another point is IEQ conversion factor. This table is from the first paper describing IEQ conversion factor. I want you to focus on this number 0.667. This is just a simple error. Corrected number is 0.648 as written in this book chapter. The difference may be negligible, but the error should be corrected. Unfortunately, I know some clinical centers are still using this incorrect conversion factor. Lastly, I want to share with you a short video. When you receive islet, you may find islets are clumping together due to DNA. Heparin helps to diminish clumping. Heparin is added. Now clumping is gone. This is no heparin. I call this egg drop soup. The highly negative charge of heparin may play a role, but I really don't know the mechanism of this heparin magic. I hope you can see the difference in this video. Now let me show our contribution to basic research. AIDP contributed 128 publications in the last 15 years. Publications are listed in AIDP website. I also have provided many supporting letters to researchers for their grant applications. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank many basic researchers who contributed to this special issue published in OBM Transplantation. In summary, thanks to improvement of islet isolation technology and implementation of islet distribution programs, many researchers now have an access to human islet. AIDP has been distributing human islet to 49 researchers worldwide since 2007 without any external funding. Research consent rate is gradually increasing, and several factors were found to be associated with consent rate. With a 15-year track record, AIDP remains a single-center program to distribute high-quality human islet for basic research. I would like to thank donors and donor families for their generous gift. I would like to thank organ donation organizations across Canada and donor coordinators for their continuous effort to the successful donation process. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to take any questions. I also welcome to have comment, constructive criticisms, and advices from AIDP researchers.